There is no fixed observer sitting inside, no unchanging entity watching everything from a distance. What we call the observer is nothing but a movement of thought, a bundle of memories, experiences, beliefs, and conclusions gathered over time. It keeps changing, adapting, shifting its form according to situations, desires, fears, and past images. This so-called observer is not separate from what it observes. It is part of the process. When the mind says, "I am watching," that I is made up of all the past conditioning, social learning, and personal history. It is not something sacred or special. It is simply thought pretending to be stable. We think we are one fixed person looking at the world, but in truth, the one who looks is shaped by the very world it tries to observe. The pride of saying, "I am observing, I am special, I am more aware than others," is itself part of the illusion. The moment one feels special or higher, others appear lower, and this is where jealousy takes root. The mind compares constantly, not just clothes, money, or looks, but even intelligence, spirituality, and success. This comparison creates inner division, a subtle violence where one wants to be better, superior, more respected, more praised. This entire sense of being someone is built on thoughts repeating themselves again and again, like a background noise that never stops. The chattering of the mind, that inner talking. What did he mean? Am I right? What will happen? Will I succeed? Am I respected? Goes on endlessly. This chatter becomes the fuel for the ego, strengthening the false sense of self. The ego is not some physical object. It is just a structure built of thoughts, beliefs, attachments, and fears. It thrives when one is not aware of it, when it operates silently, forming opinions, judgments, conclusions. It says, "This is me, and that is not me," and draws lines between people, between ideas, between cultures. But all these lines are imaginary, created by the mind to protect itself, to feel secure, to feel important. Once you feel important, the need to maintain that image becomes strong. And when someone else threatens it, by being more talented, more admired, more successful, jealousy arises. One cannot stand seeing someone else shine brighter because the ego wants to be the only light. From this root grows the competitive nature. From school to work, to even relationships and spirituality, the mind keeps measuring. Am I ahead or behind? Becomes the silent question in everything. Competition appears natural because society rewards it, but it is a sign of inner lack. A person who is whole has no need to compete, but the fragmented mind wants to prove itself, to achieve, to be recognized. This creates desire, not just for material things, but for status, respect, security, power, and even enlightenment. Desire is not just wanting something. It is the mental image of having it, enjoying it, and the fear of losing it. We desire a future because we feel empty now. We chase pleasure because we are afraid of boredom, of silence, of being nothing. And with desire comes expectation. We expect the world to give us what we imagine. We create mental pictures of success, love, happiness, and when the world does not match those pictures, anger is born. Anger is not something separate. It is the pain of a broken expectation, the frustration that reality did not follow our script. And if the desire is fulfilled, it does not bring peace, it brings craving. We want more. The mind says, "This felt good, maybe more will feel better." And so the cycle begins. Desire, effort, achievement, short pleasure, fear of loss, and then desire again. This cycle continues without rest. The mind moves like a machine, jumping from one want to another, never satisfied. Behind every pleasure is hidden fear, fear of it ending, fear of losing it, fear of missing out. And behind fear there is pain, the pain of loneliness, the pain of failure, the pain of being not enough. This entire movement is psychological. It has no existence outside the mind. The mind creates it, sustains it, and suffers because of it. Pain becomes part of identity, and fear becomes a guide. One starts making choices not from clarity but from fear, fear of rejection, fear of poverty, fear of death, fear of being nobody. In this state, life becomes survival, not living. Each moment is either a repetition of the past or a projection of the future. The present is missed completely, and yet, it is only in the present that freedom exists. One cannot be free in the past. It is memory. One cannot be free in the future. It is imagination. Only this moment now has truth, but the mind avoids now, because now has no image, no drama. Now is empty, silent, unknown, and the mind is afraid of the unknown. So what can be done? Nothing. Not in the traditional sense. The more one tries to fix the mind, the more one becomes trapped. The fixer is also part of the problem. To escape thought with another thought is still to remain in thought. The only real movement is observation. Pure, choiceless, non-reactive observation. Just watching. Not trying to stop thought, not trying to control anger, not trying to kill desire, but observing it as it is, in real time. To observe without naming, without judging, without saying this is good or bad, that observation brings light. When one watches jealousy arise without resisting it, without feeding it, it begins to fade. When one sees the ego in action, wanting praise, wanting attention, and simply watches it, a distance is created. In that distance, clarity is born. One begins to see the mind as a tool, not as a master. The thoughts come and go, like clouds in the sky, but there is no need to follow every cloud. Observation is not effort, it is attention. It is a state of alertness without tension. In that state, one sees the mind's tricks, how it creates pride, how it builds images of me and a mine, how it compares, how it seeks validation. This seeing is the beginning of ending, not by force, not by discipline, but by insight. When the fire is seen as fire, the hand withdraws automatically. When anger is seen clearly, not just its surface but its root, it burns out. When desire is observed without being chased, it dissolves. Slowly, the observer, the one who claims to be separate, begins to fade, because it is seen that there is no observer apart from what is being observed. The thought-watching anger is also a form of anger. The mind-watching desire is also part of desire. There is no watcher apart from the watched. When this is seen, something strange happens. The division ends. The mind becomes quiet, not by force but by understanding. In that silence, life begins to flow differently. There is no longer a need to become somebody. One does not need to prove, to fight, to compare. Life is not a race. It is a dance. Each step can be lived fully, not as a means to an end, but as an end in itself. Relationships become real because one is not using others to feel superior or secure. Work becomes joyful because it is no longer about achievement but about expression. Even pain becomes a teacher, not an enemy. Fear loses its grip because there is nothing to protect. When there is no ego, there is nothing to defend. And in that state of freedom, love blossoms, not the love that is needy, attached, or possessive, but a love that arises from wholeness, from presence. This journey does not need time. It needs attention. It begins now, not tomorrow. Every thought that arises can be watched. Every emotion can be allowed. There is no need to fix the mind, just to understand it. The understanding brings its own transformation. And this understanding is not intellectual. It is direct, alive, felt. It happens when one stops running after dreams, running from fear, running to become someone. In that stopping, there is a mirror. One sees clearly not what should be, but what is. And in that seeing, truth is revealed, not as a conclusion, but as a living flame that lights up everything.